Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to our very last video in the series on the 10 Commandments of Digital Missions. I know that we've covered a lot of ground, but my goal was hopefully to make each of these little installments bite-sized and manageable and actionable. Today we're going to be looking at the very last bit. This was actually a suggestion by the team that brought me on to do this series, was to look at analytics. And analytics can be both a blessing and a curse. You can definitely learn a lot from analytics as far as what to reproduce, what to recreate, who your audience is, and we'll talk about that and how to determine all of those factors in just a little bit. But I want to kind of also talk about it, how it can also be somewhat of a curse, and how you want to kind of walk a fine line between being a student of your numbers and knowing your numbers well and being able to reflect your actions and your decisions based off of those trends. But you also want to kind of, in certain senses, be able to put that to the side and to be able to remember your calling, remember what it is that God has given you a vision for, and really what you enjoy doing as well. One of the big detriments of social media and especially digital missions is that it's very easy to basically boil down your success and your value into a single number. Whether that number is the number of views you might get on a video, or that number could be the number of subscribers that you have, or something along those lines. Every single one of us, and I'm definitely not immune to this, but every single one of us is very prone to allow our ego to be affected either for positive or for negative based off of these statistics. You know, when you have a great video that comes out and comments are pouring in, showering you with support and adoration or something along those lines, it can be very easy for that to get to your head and for you to feel, a little overinflated, which of course is something that we never want to do. And conversely, like when you have a video that you put out that you really believe God called you to make, and it's a little bit more controversial and people don't respond well, maybe it's a counter cultural video, or maybe it's on a perspective that a lot of people don't agree with. It's very easy to take those negative comments and those negative statistics like unsubscribe numbers very, very negatively. I remember I put out a video that I was very proud about a number of months ago, and as a result of that single video, I lost several hundred subscribers as a result. And so, it was definitely a very discouraging moment, especially when I've worked for so long to build up my audience. It can be discouraging to see people leaving and things like that. So I want you to take this whole analytics discussion with a grain of salt. Realize that it's not the end all be all. It's a tool to kind of be used in its appropriate place. So don't make it into a god, but also definitely don't neglect it as well. So there are three basic places that I go to for analytic supports and help. And the problem with me talking about it in this video is that YouTube is actually undergoing right now a facelift to their entire analytics section. And so depending on when you watch this video, it may or may not be different. It may or may not cover different metrics or different pieces of data. So it's something that you kind of just want to consistently be keeping up on, kind of as we talked about in our last video on continuing to learn and grow. But with that said, there are a couple pieces of software and websites that I think that will definitely not be going away anytime soon. They're fairly well established in the industry, even if it might look differently. So the first thing is actually on your phone. This is what I use the most out of any analytic thing. There is an app on your iPhone, and I believe for Android as well, called the YouTube Studio, and it's a creators app for YouTube creators. And basically what you do is you sign in on the channel login information that you have, and you have access to a wide variety of pieces of information. You can get real-time views. What are your views looking like in the last 48 hours? I mean, this is a very helpful metric to be keeping an eye on every once in a while, because you kind of have an idea of this is what my standard number is. When I upload, it might jump a little bit, but then it kind of levels out again. But what you can notice is maybe sometimes the video gets your 48-hour views get a massive spike. And at least what I want to do at that moment is figure out why. What happened that just changed everything? I have some friends that are YouTube creators. They just did a video last week, and that video blew up for them. They averaged maybe 500 or 600 views per video, maybe 1,000 views on a good video. But the video that they posted literally last week already has over 30,000 views. And so this kind of is definitely something that opens your eyes. It's like, my goodness, what in the world is happening? And by being able to pay attention to your analytics, you can find out some really good information about that. It can give you information about where in the world is it trending. Sometimes it might be here in the United States, maybe in Australia, maybe it's in the UK or the Philippines or something along those lines. And each of these factors can actually give you information to work with. What happens a lot of times is when you have a massive spike is that it tended to go, quote unquote, viral in a particular part of the world. What that means is that a blog picked it up, or a social media influencer on Twitter might have tweeted it out, or something along those lines. And if and when you ever do get that experience, you want to make sure to really seize that opportunity. And this is why monitoring your analytics on a fairly regular basis can be very valuable, because it allows you to create relationships with these people. So, for example, I had an experience where one of my videos was featured on a large worldwide blog last year. And as a result, when that video was trending, I reached out to the kind of the curator of that blog and introduced myself. I thanked them for featuring my video, and I asked questions. Is there anything else that I can do to serve and to help? And as a result, I developed a loose relationship with this person. And over the next couple of months, they ended up featuring a handful of my other videos, because I asked them, what kind of content are you looking for? What kind of things do your readers and your viewers really enjoy? And is there any way that I can serve? And so keeping an eye on your analytics allows you to create better relationships and gives you opportunities for better partnerships. And so looking at your YouTube Creator app can be very valuable. There's different things like your audience statistics in there. It can give you ideas on your demographics. It can give you ideas on what part of the world do your videos tend to do best. Things along those lines. Is your channel primarily male or female? And each of these little bits of information kind of help you steer the language of your videos. When I first started out, I wanted all my audience, basically to be mostly men. And I'm realizing that my statistics, my analytics say that I actually have a strong support from my female viewership. And one of the kind of actionable things that we did with that information is I wanted to be sure to involve Emily in as many videos as possible, so that they had a character on my videos that they could relate with, that they could look up to, and that they could kind of aspire to be in certain respects. And so it was more valuable for my audience to see the two of us together than just me. And that's just an example of some of the analytics that, some of the actions that you can take from studying your analytics. You can also see different things that are really helpful as far as like what are your top performing videos, things like that. Those are really good. Another place that you can find this information that is free is a little website called vidIQ, vidIQ.com. And vidIQ is a great place to kind of summarize information. It's actually a lot easier to kind of go back in time with this service. You can set a certain like start date and end date, so you have certain parameters with which you are studying your numbers. It'll give you a demographic breakdown. It'll also give you a list of the top websites that are embedding your content. And this is a really helpful piece of information, again, to find out where your content is being shared and where your content is being spoken of. You can also find out, because of this information, how people are finding your stuff. Is your website, if you happen to have a website or a blog or your Facebook page, is it actually being successful? Is it actually transferring people from the website to your YouTube channel or not? And so that kind of information can be very, very helpful. One piece of information that I really like about vidIQ that is very helpful is that it gives you access, gives you insight to what are the top YouTube search phrases that people are using to find your content. So basically it does a study of, anytime someone types in a particular phrase, this is where they end up subscribing to your channel from. And what I've done with this is I try to keep up, okay, most people who come to my channel, what are they looking for? What is the thing that they really want to find? And by and large, the people that are subscribing to my channel come from one of two locations. The first is that they're searching for advice on Christian dating. The search phrase Christian dating gets me a lot of new prospective viewers, which makes total sense because my demographic is largely high school and early college age. I think it's like 70% under the age of 34. So largely young people who want advice in relationships. And then the other place that I'm getting a lot of traffic from is from the search phrases Bible studies for beginners and how to study the Bible. And so that's kind of how I've modified my channel approach. I was, when I first started my channel, doing a lot of vlogs, like a lot of lifestyle videos where I would film my wife and I out and about, highlighting our life and our story. And I started to realize that my audience wasn't really engaging with that type of content very well. The software was basically telling me they wanted one of two things. They wanted Christian dating advice, or they wanted tips on how to study the Bible, how to make the Bible practical. And as a result, this last couple of months, I've actually entirely refocused my brand and refocused my channel's value to around those two primary things. My catchphrase on my channel at the present moment is, this channel exists to help you understand the Bible better for yourself and to make it practical so that you could apply it to your life. And that really seems to be what people are interested in when it comes to my channel. So vidIQ gives you a lot of really helpful things. It can track your trends month by month by month. Are your views trending upward? Are your subscribers trending upward or downward? And kind of how does your content play into those trends, and how can you make decisions moving forward from that? Another really helpful tool that I enjoy is called TubeBuddy. Now, the problem with TubeBuddy is that it is a paid service. So you got to gauge whether or not this is worth it to you. The first two ones, the YouTube Creator Studio app and the vidIQ software, is entirely free, and you can get very far with that. You can get a lot of data, and I would really suggest that. But the TubeBuddy has a couple things that are valuable that you might not be able to have in other places. An example of something that it has that you can't get somewhere else is you can get notifications for certain search phrases. And so what I do is I type in a couple search phrases that I want to kind of be involved in that community of. So one of those search phrases is Christian vloggers. I want to know when anyone puts out a video that uses the phrase Christian vlogger, because anytime someone's talking about that, that is a valuable conversation for my brand to be engaged with. It's a valuable place for me to network, to introduce myself, to build relationships and things like that. So once a week, I get an email. It gives me a list. These are the 5 or 7 or 10 or 15 videos that use your search phrase. Now, a way that you can apply that, let's say, go back to like the Bible prophecy example. Let's say that you want to dominate the space for Bible prophecy videos. You could include any kind of alert for search phrases like Revelation or end time events or end of the world or Bible prophecy or something along those lines. So that way you can have a really good finger on the pulse of the community. What are people talking about? The people that are searching for answers in this department, who are they watching? Who are they going to? And what does the conversation look like? And so you can slowly get your foot in the door and become one of the major players in that specific space. So that kind of what's called the notifications is a very, very helpful tool that you can have. The other thing that is actually really good is that you can have this opportunity to highlight certain what you would call competitors on the platform. And you can basically input a handful of other YouTube channels that are similar to you in your niche, and you can track the growth of each one of those. And you can find out, you know what, on average, this channel grows by this number of subscribers, whereas this one grows by greater or less than, and you can compare yourself with these other channels. Now, again, you don't want to go down the black hole of just having your entire self-worth be dependent on this. But the reason why comparing yourself with these other people is valuable is because it actually helps you know who are the people that you really should be looking to collaborate with, who are the people that you really should be looking to really work with as far as partners in ministry. And you can interview people, you can do collaborations, you can do back and forth videos. There's a number of different things that you can do there. This has actually been one of the things that for me has been really helpful in kind of managing relationships with other creators out there and kind of introducing me to other people. And so, if someone is like 1 million subscribers ahead of my channel, there's not a really good chance that I will be able to connect with them because they're kind of fielding so many different opportunities. And so what I try to do is I try to find other YouTube creators who are in my same genre, in my same niche, who are at roughly the same kind of growth rate, growth level as I am. And you can input all these people into your competitor's scorecard. And as a result, what it does is it gives you updates as to when they upload a new video, how many views is it averaging, things along those lines. And you kind of track trends. And you can view from a big picture, you can see the trends of their videos. For example, one of my quote unquote competitors recently made a shift over from doing produced videos to live videos. And I'm able to see how did that impact her growth? How did that impact her engagement with her audience? And I'm actually seeing a trend where it had a good peak at the beginning and it started to level off over time because people were excited about the live videos initially, but then the replay value of those live videos seems to diminish. And as a result, her kind of average monthly views tends to be lowering. And so it helps me make better decisions with what I want to do as far as strategy moving forward. It allows me to experiment with a couple things and kind of give me a bird's eye view on everything else like that. So those are the three things that I pretty much use all the time as far as my own personal analytics. It's YouTube itself, or in the Creator app version, whether it's the desktop or the app, either one is fine. The second one is Vid Iq. And then the third one is TubeBuddy. Explore those different softwares. They're always updating. They're always changing some of the features that they have. They have different things to make your life simpler, like how you can edit all of the descriptions of all of your videos, of all 100 videos you have in the snap of a finger. It allows you to manage comments and replying to comments, things like that. There's a lot of things that I didn't mention that are very, very valuable. They're going to update their software with every new update that YouTube has. And so I just encourage you to go check out that software, check out some of the tutorials, dive into it, and you'll find some of the information that will be helpful to growing your audience. But with that said, that is the very end of our 10 videos on the digital missions commandments. I hope that this series was helpful to you. I want to give a special shout out to SDA Data for helping me to create this series of videos. You guys have been awesome in supporting me as a creator, and I love what you guys are doing. Check them out on their websites. I'm sure it'll be embedded on this page somewhere. They do a lot of really great stuff to help digital missionaries like yourself and like me get further and help us to spread our message. So if you haven't checked them out, go ahead and check them out. And of course, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me through email, on any of my social media pages. My passion is digital missions. My passion is helping people like you increase your influence online as well. And so I've been very blessed to be able to cover this ground. Of course, there's a lot more that we could talk about, but hopefully this was helpful to you. I look forward to talking to you through email, in person. If we ever get to cross paths, let me know that you watched this series. Let me know if it was helpful to you and how it was able to kind of give you some easy access to the very beginning and help you to kind of overcome some of those obstacles and just kind of get past that initial start phase. I wish you the very best. My prayers are with you. Keep on doing what you're doing, and I look forward to seeing you online. God bless.